Dear Radiant Leo, will $1 million truly solve everything you're carrying? Or is the real breakthrough something money alone could never touch? That's what we're uncovering together today. Not just a financial forecast, but a deeper spiritual alignment, one that goes far beyond what's in your bank account. Because this message isn't just about receiving money. It's about becoming someone who can receive, hold, and channel blessings at the highest level. Welcome to Eternal Mindfulness. Here, you won't just find predictions. You'll find a mirror to your soul, a compass for your path, and sacred space to reconnect with your divine timing. And today's reading, Leo, is one that may shift everything. Imagine this: you wake up tomorrow and find $1 million in your account. Do you feel relief? Anxiety? Power? Or fear of losing it all? What rises in your heart reveals more than you think. Money, in spiritual truth, doesn't fix us. It reflects us. It expands what already lives inside. If you're rooted in faith, joy, confidence, money becomes a tool of impact. But if you're rooted in fear, doubt, or self-sabotage, it becomes a mirror that magnifies your pain. So today, the universe is not simply sending resources. It's asking you a sacred question: are you emotionally, energetically, and spiritually ready for the responsibility that wealth brings? Because abundance is not an amount. It's a state of being. And today's message carries the frequency of a divine transfer, but only for the Leo who has made space in their soul to receive it. That's why you're here. Not by chance, but by alignment. Something in you, perhaps a silent prayer, perhaps a moment of surrender, opened the portal for this message to reach you. You didn't come to this video randomly. You were called. And I don't say that lightly. There is a moment coming, a turn of events, a wave of opportunity, a spiritual reversal that's going to prove that your faith was not in vain. But before we go deeper into the details, I want to pause and honor your presence. Thank you. For every like, every comment, every subscription, every moment you've shared your energy here. Know this: you are not just watching a video. You are building a sanctuary with us. You are anchoring divine wisdom into the digital world. And your presence truly matters. Your energy allows eternal mindfulness to continue bringing these life-changing messages to those who need them most. And I'm truly grateful you're here. Now, Leo, my bold and brilliant soul, stay with me until the very end of this reading. Because what the universe is about to reveal could be the moment your next chapter begins. If anything has already spoken to your spirit, I'd love for you to comment below with, "I am ready to receive more than money. I am ready to receive what is meant for my soul." Let that be your affirmation. Let that be your signal to the universe that you're not only open but aligned. Because the message that follows, it's not just about wealth. It's about the version of you that rises when wealth arrives. Let's begin. Dear one, as we continue this sacred unfolding, it becomes clear that what's arriving for you is not just financial increase but a recalibration of your entire relationship with abundance itself. The energy of money is shifting in your field, but it's not doing so in the conventional way your mind has been trained to expect. You may have imagined wealth entering through force, through relentless effort, through the hustle that leaves you breathless. But this chapter of your life is not about striving harder. It's about surrendering with intention. It's about learning that true abundance often slips in through the back door of your awareness, quiet and holy, when you finally loosen your grip on how you think it should look. What's happening now is energetic, not just practical. The cosmos, this intelligent field of life you are woven into, is conspiring in favor of your expansion. But its movements don't always align with linear logic or timelines you've set in your calendar. That is why, often, the financial blessing shows up not from the promotion you anticipated, but from a forgotten collaboration that suddenly reignites. Or from a contact who once rejected your idea, now returning with funding. Or an opportunity wrapped in stillness until your vibration rises high enough to recognize it. This is how energy works. It responds not to desperation, but to receptivity. It mirrors back not your desire alone, but your readiness. And readiness, my dear, is not about having everything figured out. It's about clearing space emotionally, mentally, energetically for the new to enter. You cannot hold on to expired beliefs about struggle and simultaneously invite in overflow. You cannot carry guilt, unworthiness, or resentment and expect prosperity to feel safe in your presence. Money flows where it feels welcomed, not chased. Here's the gentle truth. Some of the most enduring financial miracles don't arrive during your most productive season, they arrive during your most aligned one. When your energy softens. When your nervous system stops bracing. When your heart whispers, I trust, even if the evidence hasn't appeared yet. You are not being asked to do more. You are being asked to believe differently. To stop measuring your worth by how much you've suffered, and instead start receiving in proportion to how much you've healed. That idea you abandoned years ago because the world wasn't ready? Perhaps now, you are ready to carry it differently. That old version of success that burned you out? Maybe now it's time to redefine success as what supports your peace, not just your profit. This is a moment to question the silent contracts you've made with lack. The vows you've taken unknowingly, I must prove myself to deserve, I must give until depletion, I must earn love through sacrifice. These beliefs were never divine truths. They were inherited patterns. They were energetic debt handed down through generations. And they end with you. Let your current financial story be rewritten not through force, but through frequency. Trust that the universe will open doors when your inner world is no longer cluttered by what you've outgrown. This is the time to loosen your grip on outcomes, but deepen your grip on faith. Not blind faith, but embodied faith, the kind that is calm in the waiting and grateful in the becoming. So ask yourself now, what if the blessing is already here, just waiting for you to unclench your hands? What if all you need to do is shift from control to trust? The most important action you can take right now may not be another task, but the quiet, revolutionary choice to open your palms and say, I'm ready. There are moments in life when the unseen feels closer than ever, when the silence between two thoughts holds more guidance than 1,000 voices, and when every repeated number, every subtle sensation, every inexplicable moment of calm seems to carry a message. In this season, dear Leo, you are living through such a moment. And while it may not be loud or dramatic, the presence around you is unmistakably intelligent. The truth is, you're not navigating your path alone, not now, not ever. But what's different today is your increasing sensitivity to that protective force. Like the warmth of the sun, even when clouds cover the sky, there's a presence wrapping itself around you, not to shield you from life, but to help you walk through it with greater grace. When we speak of protection in the language of energy, we're not speaking of barriers or blockades. We're speaking of alignment. A kind of energetic GPS system that softly redirects you when you're veering off course, not as punishment, but as love in motion. You may feel this as a sudden resistance toward people or paths that once pulled you. You may experience delays that frustrate your logical mind but ultimately save you from missteps. Or you may simply sense, without knowing why, that something is watching out for you. This is not your imagination. This is what it feels like when your nervous system is recalibrating to trust something greater than the immediate five senses. Energy never lies. And right now, it's reflecting back to you a deeply held truth that your soul has always known. You're being guided, watched, and supported even when things feel uncertain. This invisible architecture of support is not built on superstition. It's built on resonance. You've been tuning your frequency, consciously or not, to something more aligned with who you're becoming. That shift alone is enough to summon support in ways your mind can't explain but your heart recognizes instantly. The repetition of certain numbers, the dreams that echo through your mornings, the goosebumps that arrive without warning, these are not accidents. They're invitations to pay attention. They're whispers from a dimension that loves you too much to let you navigate blind. Think of it this way. If you were to stand in a dark forest holding a lantern, the light wouldn't show you the entire journey, it would only illuminate the next few steps. But if you trust the glow, step by step, you eventually arrive somewhere you didn't know how to reach. That's what's happening now. Your spiritual lantern is lit, and though you can't yet see the full destination, the guidance surrounding you is real and responsive. It moves when you move. It listens when you reflect. It protects, not by stopping life from happening, but by helping you walk through it awake. This protection isn't about dependence, it's about deepened discernment. The more you trust it, the more confident you become in your own decisions. The more you pause to listen, the less you chase. And in a world that often glorifies hustle, this quiet knowing is your superpower. It whispers that your worth doesn't need to be proven through exhaustion. That safety is not earned through hypervigilance. And that money, opportunities, and breakthroughs don't just come through effort, they also come through presence. So if you felt a subtle shift in your dreams, a quickening in your intuition, or a softness around your heart, trust it. You are being held by something wise and luminous. And you were never meant to carry all of this on your own. Let that truth settle into your cells like sunlight through leaves. You're protected. You're provided for. And you're not creating your future alone. You are co-writing it with something infinitely greater than fear. Write this down somewhere, you'll see it often. I am wrapped in unseen light. I never walk or earn alone. When we speak of abundance, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking it only lives in numbers, accounts, or opportunities. But in the deepest energetic truth, abundance doesn't begin in your bank account. It begins in your heart. And for you, Leo, whose ruling force is the sun itself, the journey of prosperity must first pass through the warmth of self-acceptance, emotional clarity, and inner devotion to your own worth. This is not poetic metaphor. This is energetic law. The universe does not separate the flow of love from the flow of wealth. They move in tandem, vibrating on the same frequency of openness, trust, and deep inner safety. If you are holding on to heartbreak, resentment, or wounds that were never fully seen, you are not broken, but you may be energetically guarded. And guarded energy cannot receive. Not love. Not money. Not peace. So this phase in your financial expansion is not about doing more work. It's about doing deeper emotional work, the kind that quietly, almost invisibly, changes the way you receive from the world around you. The Ace of Cups doesn't just symbolize romantic emotion. It represents a sacred overflowing, a replenishment of your inner well after it's been dry for far too long. And in this reading, it's asking you to tend to the spaces within yourself where love has been leaking. To meet your needs before anyone else does. To stop waiting for someone to validate your worth, and instead, become the source of that validation. Because when you fall deeply in love with the way you care for yourself, your time, your dreams, your sensitivity, money follows. Opportunities follow. Because you've become a trustworthy vessel for value. It's not coincidence that many people receive financial breakthroughs shortly after releasing an old relationship, forgiving a parent, or making peace with their inner child. These moments are energetic upgrades. They signal to the universe that you are ready to handle the power of resources because you're no longer using them to fill a hole. They are now tools to build what matters. So in this phase, don't just make financial plans. Make emotional commitments. Commit to the rituals that fill your cup, not because they're trendy or spiritual, but because they reconnect you to yourself. Maybe it's writing letters to the version of you that felt abandoned. Maybe it's journaling what you're still afraid to feel. Maybe it's standing in the mirror every morning and saying, "You are safe. I've got you. You are no longer alone." These small moments, repeated, become the energetic containers that tell the universe, "I'm ready now. I've come home to myself. You can trust me with more." There is no separation between money and the heart. If money is energy, then your heart is its home. And when that home is full of compassion, clarity, and calm confidence, wealth doesn't hesitate. It knocks on your door, not just as a transaction, but as a reflection. A reflection of how fully you've remembered who you are. Leo, your radiance is not just meant to shine outward. It's meant to warm you from the inside out. Let yourself receive the love you keep trying to give. Let that love be enough even before the money comes. And when it does, you'll know it wasn't luck. It was alignment. It was a reflection of the way you finally decided to hold yourself with care, with reverence, with unwavering worth. Sometimes, life doesn't fall apart because it's punishing you, it falls apart because it's rearranging itself in our favor. And in your current season, Leo, what seems to be crumbling may actually be repositioning itself for a higher alignment. The wheel of fortune is turning, not to test your endurance, but to prove that what's meant for you will always find a way back, even when the route looks nothing like what you had in mind. This is not the energy of repetition. This is the energy of return, with wisdom, with timing, with purpose. That forgotten investment, that silent project, that lost connection, all of them are being given new breath, not because you pushed harder, but because you held still long enough to let divine order take the lead. We live in a culture that teaches us to equate movement with progress. But in the language of the universe, stillness can be the most radical movement of all. When everything in your external world feels uncertain or stuck, the wheel is often already spinning in your energetic field, just beneath the surface. It begins with a shift in your internal perception. The moment you stop clenching, stop strategizing, stop needing to fix. It begins when you let go of the timeline and start trusting the unfolding. Not because you gave up, but because you finally surrendered control over what was never yours to micromanage. There's an emotional intelligence embedded in this card, and it asks a deeper question. Can you remain centered in a room full of chaos? Can you breathe while the wind changes direction? Because what is meant to return to you now is not random. It's what you once planted in faith. Seeds you sowed in silence. Acts of goodness you thought went unseen. Prayers you whispered when no one was listening. The wheel turns because the energy you released into the universe, whether through service, surrender, or resilience, has reached its point of maturation. This moment isn't about outcomes. It's about capacity. Can you hold space for a miracle without trying to name it too soon? Can you allow the story to surprise you, rather than demand that it follows the script you wrote years ago? So often, the blessing we need comes disguised as a delay, a redirection, or even a failure. But if you lean into the metaphor of the wheel, you'll realize that no position is permanent. Even what feels stuck today can become sacred tomorrow. When you're on the edge of a breakthrough, everything inside you will want to retreat. That's the nervous system trying to protect you from disappointment. But what if you held on for 3 more seconds? What if you gave grace just a little more time to work its way through the details? That person who owed you something may return with interest. That closed door may reopen with new terms. That opportunity you grieved might be reborn in a higher form because you are now a more aligned vessel to receive it. Let your stillness be your strength. Let your patience be your declaration of trust. You don't have to chase what's already yours, you only need to remain available when it arrives. And when it does, you'll look back at every stalled moment, every no, every silence, and realize, it wasn't a dead end. It was divine choreography. The wheel never stops turning. And neither does your evolution. Abundance, in its truest form, is not a reward, it's a response. It doesn't rush into cluttered spaces or force its way into timelines still tied up in regret. It waits. It watches. It flows to where it feels welcome. And right now, Leo, the question isn't whether you're working hard enough to deserve more. The question is, have you made room for what you asked for? Because you cannot pour new water into a cup that's already full, not of blessings, but of everything that no longer serves you. In this part of your journey, the most powerful action you can take might not be effort in the traditional sense. It may not be chasing, fixing, or overcommitting. It may be the brave and sacred act of letting go. Letting go of possessions, people, patterns, and thoughts that occupy space but no longer hold value. Energy doesn't lie, it just accumulates. And when your energetic field is full of outdated stories and expired agreements, abundance has nowhere to land. You might be praying for overflow while holding tight to what was only meant to be temporary. Think of it like walking into a room that once felt beautiful, but now feels heavy. The furniture's in the way. The colors are dull. The air doesn't move. It's not that the blessing isn't ready, it's that the space hasn't been cleared to receive it. This is not about minimalism in your house site, it's about spaciousness in your soul. Ask yourself honestly, am I still holding on to relationships that drain me? To social inputs that keep me anxious? To beliefs that tell me I must suffer before I'm allowed to succeed? Blessings come with a frequency. And when your internal landscape is clouded by noise, comparison, or fear, the channel becomes distorted. The universe doesn't punish you for not being perfect, it simply echoes the energy you emit. If you send out contraction, hesitation, or guilt, you get back more of the same. If you open with intention, faith, and surrender, the return is different, not always immediate, but always aligned. This is why healing and receiving are intimately connected. Until we release what is unprocessed, we are not truly available to what is possible. You might be asking for a new job, but are you still secretly believing you're not qualified? You might want love, but do you still replay the rejection from 5 years ago? You might say you're ready for wealth, but is your nervous system still wired to fear it might disappear? These are not small questions, they are spiritual architecture. And the time to rebuild begins now. Clear the inbox. Cancel the plan that no longer excites your spirit. Unfollow the voice that makes you shrink. Donate the clothing that no longer reflects who you are becoming. Speak the truth you've been rehearsing in silence. Forgive the version of you that didn't know better. These simple, daily acts become sacred rituals of readiness. They tell the universe, I'm not waiting for luck. I'm preparing for what is already mine. The most abundant people are not always the loudest or the flashiest. They are the ones whose inner world matches what they say they're ready to receive. Their prayers don't just live in their journals, they live in their choices. And today, your choice is this: make space for the life you've asked for. Not later. Not someday. But now. Because the blessing is not on pause, it's on the other side of the clutter you're finally willing to release. And so, dear Leo, as we gently close this sacred space we've shared together, I invite you to sit with one quiet but powerful truth. Your dream life does not begin with a dollar amount, it begins with a decision. A decision to live as if you are already chosen, already worthy, already supported by something far greater than circumstances. Because you are. This message today was not about chasing after money, it was about becoming the kind of soul who naturally attracts it, not through force, but through frequency. $1 million may solve some temporary issues, yes. It may create comfort, open doors, ease the tension you've carried for far too long. But no amount of money will ever do the inner work for you. And the truth is, the deeper work, the kind that heals your nervous system, unlocks your confidence, restores your joy, that work begins now, with or without the check in hand. That's the secret no one tells you. Wealth doesn't just change your life. It mirrors the life you've already built within. So let me ask you this. What would shift if, starting today, you spoke to yourself as if you were already trusted with greatness? What if you made decisions like someone who knows blessings are on their way? What would it feel like to no longer wait for permission to believe in yourself? This isn't about pretending. This is about preparing. It's about choosing to show up, clean out, step forward, and surrender with dignity. It's about knowing that the version of you who receives everything you've asked for is the same version who is willing to act in alignment, even before the evidence appears. And if you're still wondering whether you're enough, whether you're ready, let this be your confirmation: you are. Thank you for spending your precious time here. For listening not just with your ears, but with your heart. Your presence is not taken for granted. Every time you like, comment, share, or subscribe, you help keep this channel, Eternal Mindfulness, pulsing with light and purpose. You are part of something sacred, and I'm deeply grateful for you. So if this message resonated, I encourage you to reflect and to affirm your readiness. You can even declare it in the comments, not just for me to see, but for the universe to witness. Say it with certainty: I am worthy of $1 million and so much more. I live as if my blessing has already arrived. Because the truth is, it already has. The shift is in motion. The wheel is turning. And the rest? It's only a matter of alignment and time. Until we meet again, may you walk boldly, love fully, and remember your heart was never waiting on money. It was always waiting on you.